During my daughter's wedding rehearsal, I accidentally overheard her fiancé and mother-in-law plotting to humiliate her in front of all the guests, take everything away from her, and break up with her. The betrayal hit me like a bolt of lightning. My dream of a happy celebration turned into a trap, but I came up with a cunning plan for revenge. My daughter didn't show up at the wedding, and when her mother-in-law called with complaints, "Where is your little brat? Everyone is waiting for her," I laughed and advised her to look under the table with the cake. She couldn't believe her eyes. Justice struck harder than betrayal. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. The Grand Plaza Hotel's service corridor smelled like industrial cleaner and stale champagne. I ducked out during the rehearsal break. Needed the bathroom. Needed a minute away from watching Alexander play Prince Charming. My daughter deserved better than his performance. 30 years designing theater effects taught me to spot a bad actor. On my way back, voices stopped me. Male and female coming from the alcove near the Rose Ballroom's side entrance. "Mom, you sure about this? She really..." "Oh, please." A woman's voice. "Victoria, Alexander's mother. That little fool thinks you're her Prince Charming. You saw how she practically threw money at the venue upgrade." My hand found the doorframe. Held on. "The photos you made. They look real enough. Real enough for a room full of shocked guests. Trust me, sweetie. We do this right. You walk away with everything. The gifts alone will cover your crypto debts." Alexander laughed. Actually laughed. And here I thought I'd have to actually marry her. My phone. Where was my phone? Pocket. Left pocket. My fingers fumbled with it. Nearly dropped it. The screen glowed. I found the voice recorder app. Pressed record. The red dot pulsed. My hand shook so badly I had to brace my wrist against the wall. They kept talking. Every word carved itself into my brain. Fake evidence. Photos. Saturday at 3:45 p.m. Right between vows and rings. Maximum shock value. Alexander asking about his Oscar-worthy performance. I stood there recording until they finished. Until their footsteps faded back toward the ballroom. Then I stood there longer because my legs had forgotten how to work. The rehearsal was still going when I walked back in. Everyone gathered around the makeshift altar. The wedding planner checking her clipboard. Emily stood next to Alexander holding his hand. Her face glowed. 25 years old. My daughter. Smart. Funny. Trusting. Too trusting. Okay, let's run through the vows one more time. The wedding planner clapped her hands. Alexander, you're up. He turned to Emily. Took both her hands. I promise to make you the happiest woman alive. To cherish every single day we have together. Emily's eyes got wet. Alex, you're going to make me cry before Saturday. The guy's delivery was so fake. Even a community theater would have rejected him. And I'd worked in community theater. Painted sets for their production of Our Town back in '94. The lead actor had more sincerity. Reading the phone book. Beautiful. Really beautiful. My voice came out hoarse. Anyone else need coffee? I'm getting more. Nobody answered. I walked to the refreshment table anyway. Picked up the pot with both hands because one hand was still shaking. The cup rattled against the saucer when I set it down. Coffee slopped over the rim. George, isn't it? Victoria appeared beside me. She smiled, a shark sizing up a seal. I smiled back. Two could play the terrible actor game. I'm so glad our children found each other, she said. Yeah, glad. You look pale. Wedding jitters for the father of the bride. Something like that. She patted my arm and glided away. I watched her cross the room to Alexander, whisper something in his ear. He nodded. She whispered again. He nodded again. The balcony. I needed the balcony. Made it outside, loosened my collar. Chicago air hit my face, cool and damp. February in Illinois. The city stretched out below. Lights starting to flicker on as afternoon dimmed toward evening. My phone felt heavy in my pocket. I pulled it out, played back the first 15 seconds of the recording just to make sure, just to confirm I hadn't hallucinated the whole thing. Victoria's voice came through clear. That little fool thinks you're her Prince Charming. My jaw clenched. Knuckles went white around the phone. Inside, the rehearsal continued. I watched through the glass doors. The wedding planner positioned people, adjusted angles. Emily laughed at something that Alexander said. Kissed his cheek. Saturday. They were planning this for Saturday, 4 days away. The wedding was in 4 days. I went back inside for the final run-through. Stood in my designated spot as father of the bride. Victoria stood in her designated spot as mother of the groom. She caught my eye across the room, smiled sweetly. My face muscles strained as I forced a smile back. The wedding planner reviewed the timeline. So, Saturday ceremony starts at 3 p.m., sharp, processional, opening words, vows, exchange of rings, pronouncement, kiss, recessional. The whole thing should run about 40 minutes. Everyone clear? Oh, I was clear. Crystal clear. 3:45 p.m. Right between vows and rings. They'd planned it better than D-Day. Any questions? The wedding planner looked around. Nobody had questions. Emily beamed. Alexander squeezed her hand. Victoria checked her watch. The rehearsal ended. People gathered coats and bags. I watched Victoria whisper to Alexander one more time. She glanced at Emily, then back to her son. Her lips formed words. Saturday, 3:45. Don't forget. My phone vibrated. Text from Emily. Dad, we're all going to dinner at the Gauge. You coming? My thumb hovered over the screen. I looked at my daughter, laughing with Alexander across the room. 7 empty coffee cups lined up on my workbench. The mechanical ballerina wound down. Music box slowing to a stop. I'd been sitting here since 11 p.m. Now the clock read 3:12 a.m. I pressed play on the recording again. 21st time, maybe 22nd. Lost count after 18. That little fool thinks you're her prince. Charming. My workshop looked exactly how I felt. Cluttered, chaotic. Vintage mechanical toys covered every surface. The dancing bear I'd restored last month. The German tin car from 1953. The Japanese robot with the walking mechanism. All of them frozen mid-motion, waiting for someone to wind them up again. I paced window to workbench to window. The street cleaner passed below. Brushes spinning, water spraying. Chicago at 4 a.m. was quiet. Just machines and insomniacs. At 7 a.m., I called Michael. New York was 6 a.m. He'd be awake. His face filled the phone screen. My son 9 time zones away. Dad, it's 6 in the morning here. You look terrible. I need you to listen to something. My hand shook, holding the phone. I propped it against the mechanical bear, pressed play on the recording, watched Michael's face change, watched his jaw tighten. Holy. He ran his hand through his hair. Dad, you have to tell Emily right now. What if she doesn't believe me? What if she'll believe you? You never lied to her. Not once. Michael leaned closer to his camera. I'm getting on a plane. No, Stay there. I need you keeping clear head, not jet-lagged and emotional. Dad, trust me on this. He didn't like it. I could see him not liking it. But he nodded. I hung up, made coffee number 8, watched sunrise paint Chicago in gold. Around 10 a.m., I remembered food existed, found bagels in the freezer. Emily liked the everything bagels. I put 5 in a paper bag. Her apartment building was 20 minutes away. I made it in 15. She opened the door in pajama pants and an oversized sweatshirt. Dad, what are you doing here so early? You look awful. Brought bagels. We need to talk. If this is about the seating chart again, I moved Aunt Clara. It's not the seating chart. Sit down. Her smile faded. You're scaring me. Her apartment was exactly what you'd expect 4 days before a wedding. Papers everywhere, color-coded binders, sample menus, fabric swatches. The wedding had taken over like an invasive species. She sat on the couch. I sat in the chair across from her. Yesterday at rehearsal, I recorded something by accident on my phone. Okay. I played the first 10 seconds. Alexander's voice. Mom, you sure about this? Just listen. I let the whole thing play. Watched my daughter's face. Watched her process each word. Her pen dropped. Rolled off the coffee table. Neither of us picked it up. When it finished, she sat there, silent. Her coffee mug slipped from her fingers, hit the carpet with a thud. Brown stains spread across the beige fibers. That can't be Alex. It is. No, he wouldn't. We've been together 4 years. 4 years. Dad. I know, sweetheart. This is some kind of maybe they were joking. Some sick joke. Listen to it again. Does Alexander sound like he's joking? She did. Listened again. This time she stood up halfway through, walked to the window, put her palm flat against the glass, stood there for 40 seconds, maybe more. The gifts. Her voice came out hollow. Last month, Victoria kept saying, make sure guests know cash gifts are preferred. I thought she was just tacky. What else 3 weeks ago? Alex wanted to put the apartment lease in his name only. Said it was easier for paperwork. I was going to sign it tomorrow. My stomach dropped. You didn't sign yet, no. Something felt off. I told him I wanted to wait. She turned from the window. Her face had gone white. Did he ever even love me, that question? The worst question. The one I'd been asking myself all night. I think he did once before the debts. Before his mother got her hooks deeper. That's supposed to make me feel better. No. It's supposed to make you understand this isn't your fault. She slid down the wall, just collapsed into a sitting position. Knees pulled up, started crying. Not pretty crying. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. I got down on the floor next to her. My knees cracked loud enough to echo. 65-year-old joints protesting. Put my arm around her shoulders. I'm so stupid. You're not stupid. You're trusting. There's a difference. Not anymore. We sat there on her floor for maybe 15 minutes. We both watched that coffee stain spread. It was like we'd forgotten how basic physics worked. Then she wiped her face. Rough, angry swipes. Stood up fast. Pulled out her laptop. I want them to feel this. What I'm feeling right now. Worse than this. I want them humiliated. Destroyed. What are you saying? She looked at me directly. Her eyes weren't soft anymore. You worked in theater for 30 years. You know how to put on a show. Pause. So, let's give them one they'll never forget. Her phone buzzed. Text from Alexander. Morning. Babe, can't wait to see you tonight. Love you. She stared at the screen, showed it to me. What did he say? He says he loves me. You going to respond? She typed. Love you too. See you at 8. Hit send. She typed that with all the warmth of someone ordering a sandwich. Turkey on rye. Hold the emotion there. Let him think everything's perfect. Her laptop booted up. She opened a document. Wedding day schedule. Final PDF glowed on screen. Color-coded timeline. Vendor contacts. Guest list with 150 names. They want a show at 3:45 p.m., right between vows and rings. Her finger hovered over the delete key. Let's give them a different show. Click. The file disappeared. I pulled my chair closer to the screen. Okay, but we're going to need actors. Her phone buzzed again. Text from Victoria. Emily, dear, confirmed the photographer for Saturday. Can't wait to capture every moment. Emily showed me the screen. Emily's laptop screen glowed blue in the late morning light. The deleted wedding file had left a gap. Now we needed to fill it with something better. Actors, I said. We'll need about 45. She looked at me. Where do we get 45 actors in 7 days? Steppenwolf Theater Company. I worked there 30 years. I pulled out my phone. Let me call Rebecca. Rebecca Douglas answered on the 4th ring. George Harrington. I haven't heard from you since you retired. What, 6 years, 7? Listen, Becky, I need a favor. A big one. How big? Remember that production of The Sting we did in '99 where we... She interrupted, excitement cutting through the phone. Oh, I like where this is going. Keep talking. I need actors. About 45 of them. And they need to be convincing as wedding guests. When Saturday... Pause. This Saturday. As in 7 days from now. Yeah. George, this is either the craziest thing you've ever asked me or the best role of my life. I'm in. We spent the next 2 hours laying it out. Emily took notes, sketched diagrams. The plan crystallized. Stage a fake wedding with actors playing guests. Let Alexander and Victoria execute their scheme there while being recorded. Gather evidence for legal action. The real wedding would happen nowhere. The fake wedding would happen everywhere that mattered. By Tuesday morning, we had appointments. First stop, Jonathan Crawford's office downtown. My attorney for 25 years. His gray suit matched his gray hair, matched his gray filing cabinets. Let me understand. Jonathan leaned back in his leather chair. You want to stage a fake wedding ceremony to catch your daughter's fiancé committing fraud. More or less. George, I've been your attorney for 25 years. This is creative. Is it legal? He flipped through law books, tapped his pen against a legal pad. Define legal. You're not entrapping them. They planned this independently. You're just providing an alternative venue for their crime. So document everything. Audio-video witnesses, make sure nothing you do could be construed as entrapment. And for the love of, don't let Emily actually sign anything that day. She won't. There won't be a real ceremony. Then technically, you're staging a theatrical performance where the antagonists happen to commit actual crimes. He grinned. This is why I went to law school. Next, venue hunting. We needed someplace identical to the Grand Plaza Hotel's Rose Ballroom. Drove across town to the Heritage Inn Hotel on Michigan Avenue. The manager met us in the lobby. So you're looking for a venue for this Saturday? Yes. It's a family event. Small wedding reception. We have the Crystal Ballroom available. It's nearly identical to the Grand Plaza's Rose Ballroom. Actually, I tried not to look too eager. Is that right? Same designer? 1920s. Same layout. People book the wrong one by accident sometimes. Perfect. I'll take it. That afternoon, Emily planted the first seed. She texted Alexander, "Hey babe, my dad switched photographers. Found someone cheaper through a friend at his old theater." His response came fast. "Oh, I like the one we had." "I know, but Dad's paying and wanted to save money. You know how he is about his pension." "Yeah, I guess. As long as the photos turn out okay." "They will. Everything's going to be perfect. Can't wait. Love you." She showed me the exchange. He took the bait. Good. Now they think they're controlling the narrative. Wednesday morning, I visited Steppenwolf Theater Company. The building smelled the same. Paint and dust and decades of stories. Rebecca met me in the prop room pushing a vintage costume rack that barely fit through the doorway. It took 4 attempts and 3 scraped knuckles. Theater people never learn the concept of measure twice. Move once, I said. She laughed. Says the man who once built a castle wall 8 inches too wide for the stage. We pulled out makeup kits, costume pieces, planning materials. She'd already called 25 actors, all available, all eager. "What about money?" she asked. "How much per actor?" 4 hours of work, professional rate, 120 each. I did the math. 5,400. My pension savings, 8 months of careful budgeting, gone in one afternoon. "Done," I said. That evening, I withdrew the money. The ATM had a 2,000 daily limit. 4 transactions over 4 days. I stood in my kitchen Wednesday night, counting $100 bills like a budget crime boss. My mechanical bear collection watched judgmentally from the shelf. Then it hit me. I was pacing my workshop, reviewing venue photos, checking sight lines. 12 a.m. The mechanical ballerina wound down again. I'd forgotten to wind it back up. And suddenly, my brain supplied a memory. Victoria's face at the rehearsal, her hand reaching out to shake mine, her voice saying my name. I stopped, knocked over the German tin car. It crashed. Springs scattered across the workbench. Grabbed my phone with shaking hands. Called Rebecca. "Becky, we have a problem, a massive problem." "What happened?" "I'm an idiot." Victoria met me at the rehearsal. We talked. She's seen my face. Oh, that's all you've got. The whole plan falls apart if she recognizes me." She paused, then laughed. "George, you worked in special effects for 30 years. How many times did you transform actors into completely different people that was different?" That was exactly the same. "Come to the theater tomorrow morning. I'll make you into someone even your own mother wouldn't recognize." "You sure?" "Honey, I once turned a 24-year-old into a convincing 80-year-old King Lear. Trust me. I'd planned elaborate stage illusions for 30 years. The one time I forgot makeup. My own daughter's fake wedding. Brilliant." Thursday morning. Rebecca sat me in the makeup chair at Steppenwolf Theater Company. Studied my face with professional intensity. Started sketching transformation ideas on a notepad. "We'll give you a prosthetic nose," she said. "Different eyebrows, age spots. I'm 65. I already have age spots. More age spots. Different pattern. Gray wig. Slightly different posture." She circled my face with her finger. "By the time I'm done, you'll be a completely different person." Thursday afternoon brought unexpected intelligence. Emily accidentally pocket-dialed Alexander while he was with Victoria. Her phone sat on the table between us. We listened. Victoria's voice. "You look exhausted. Sweetheart." Alexander couldn't sleep. "I keep thinking about Mom. What if something goes wrong? That thing will go wrong. I've done this before. That's what worries me." What if someone remembers? What if Victoria's voice sharpened? Your father left us with nothing. Nothing. You think I wanted to do this? I was a respected notary. I had dignity. Alexander quiet. I know. Victoria softer. This is our way back. One more time and we're clear. Your debt's gone, my retirement funded. Then we're done. Promise. Promise. Emily ended the call. Looked at me. She lost her license. Previous fraud. Probably. And her husband left her broke. I said, they're desperate people making terrible choices. Does that make it better? No. But it makes them human. Thursday night, 10:32 p.m. That texted Emily. Babe, Mom's asking if she can bring a friend to the ceremony. A notary to witness the signatures. You know, just in case we need documents certified. Emily read it aloud. They're bringing a notary to the wedding. For what marriage certificates are filed by the officiant. Unless you're planning to have documents signed right there. Divorce papers, she typed back. Sure, the more the merrier. They're not even pretending anymore. I said. Her phone lit up again. Text from Rebecca. Got our bride, Sarah Reed, 65, retired actress. She's perfect. Wait till you see her. Attached photo showed a woman with similar build and coloring to Emily. I showed her the screen. That's... wow. Friday we start rehearsals. Saturday we do a full run-through. Sunday I trailed off. Emily finished. Sunday they get their show. Her phone buzzed again. That can't wait to make you my wife. 4 more days. She stared at the message. Didn't respond. Just turned the phone face down on the table. Friday morning, 10 a.m. Steppenwolf Theater Company's rehearsal hall filled with 45 strangers who'd become family by Sunday. Sarah Reed stood center stage, tablet in hand, watching videos of Emily. She pressed pause, rewound, pressed pause again. She touches her collarbone when she's nervous. See right there? Rebecca nodded. Good catch. And she laughs slightly before the joke lands, like she's already anticipating it. I watched from the director's chair. You've been studying her for 9 hours. Honey, I played Blanche Dubois for 7 months. This is a masterclass in character work. Across the room, an actor playing Uncle Robert raised his hand. So, I'm supposed to have a boat. I checked my notes. 25-foot fishing boat. You take it out on the Mississippi River. What kind cruiser? You bought it used in 2019. It needs engine work. He wrote this down. This is the most detailed background I've ever gotten for 4 hours of work. Watching 45 actors quiz each other on fictional family drama was like a very weird improv class. They sat in folding chairs with index cards testing each other. What's Aunt Clara's cat's name, mister? Whiskers. Wrong. Mister. Mittens. Start over. By Friday afternoon, they'd moved to improvisation. 2 actors practiced wedding small talk. Actor 1 as Aunt Clara. Did you hear about the honeymoon actor 2 as Cousin Beth? Hawaii, right. 3 weeks all-inclusive. I coached from the sidelines. Good. But Clara, you're more judgmental. Like you disapprove of the expense. Actor 1 adjusted her tone. 3 weeks in Hawaii must be nice. In my day, we went to Lake Michigan and called it luxury. Better. That's Clara. Sarah approached during a break. You know these people well. Every family gathering for 34 years. Friday midnight. I returned to Heritage Inn Hotel with a ladder and equipment bag. The security guard found me on my 4th camera installation. Sir, what are you doing? I nearly fell off the ladder. Jesus, You scared me. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm with the wedding party. Sunday's ceremony, setting up some surprise video elements. He shined his flashlight on my face. Video elements. I climbed down. Showed him the rental contract. I rented the ballroom. See, George Harrington. We're doing a special multimedia presentation. He examined the paper at midnight. Only time the room's empty. Weddings at 3 p.m. Rehearsal tomorrow afternoon. This was my window. What kind of video hidden cameras for a surprise montage? Candid reactions from guests during the ceremony. He shrugged. Weddings get weirder every year. Just don't break anything. I installed 7 cameras total. Crown molding, floral arrangements, exit sign, plus 5 microphones. My hands shook slightly, calibrating the hidden screen under the cake table. Dropped the screwdriver 3 times. Saturday morning Emily's performance. She FaceTimed Alexander from bed. Looking genuinely pale. Stress had physical benefits. "Babe, you look terrible," he said. "Thanks. Really feeling the pre-wedding glow. Should we postpone? No. No, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Just need rest." "You sure Mom says?" she interrupted. "I'm sure. Don't come over. I don't want you getting sick." Bad luck anyway. Right, seeing the bride before the wedding. That's just a superstition. Humor me. I'll see you at the ceremony. Promise. Okay. Love you. You too. She ended the call, dropped the act immediately. Sat up straight. I watched from her doorway. The Academy Award goes to... too much. Perfect. He bought every second, Saturday afternoon. Jonathan came by for final legal checks. Recording devices in place. 7 cameras, 5 microphones, visible consent signs, small print on programs. This event is being recorded. That covers you legally. The moment they attempt fraud on camera, you're golden. What if they don't go through with it? Then you've thrown an expensive fake wedding. But based on their text about the notary, they're going through with it. I'll be watching from the real venue with the actual guests, recording everything on my end, too. He smiled. "George, I've handled divorces for 35 years. This is the most creative justice I've ever seen." Saturday evening, we sent corrected invitations to the real guests. Mass text, important. Venue changed to Heritage Inn Hotel, 422 Michigan Avenue. Surprise for Emily and Alexander. Please keep confidential. Park in underground garage. Enter through side entrance. Ceremony 3 p.m. My actual Aunt Clara texted back immediately. "What's going on? Why the change? Long story. Trust me, it's important. Please don't mention to the bride or groom." This is very strange. "George, I know. Please trust me." "Fine, but you owe me an explanation." Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Rebecca transformed me in the makeup chair. 95 minutes of prosthetics. Age spots on top of age spots. New eyebrows. Gray wig. She gave me age spots. Age spots. I'm 65. I already have age spots. Now I had age spots on top of age spots. I looked like a spotted frog. I stared in the mirror. Didn't recognize myself. Perfect. Rebecca said, by 1 p.m. Actors assembled at Heritage Inn. I checked names with a clipboard like military roll call. 44 of 45. Everyone accounted for except my phone buzzed. 11:22 a.m. Text from Rebecca. George problem. Janet playing Aunt Clara has food poisoning. Can't make it. I called immediately. We're down an aunt an hour before. I'm sorry. She's really sick. Can we get someone else? Everyone else is already cast or unavailable. We'll have 44 instead of 45. What if Victoria counts heads? What if she notices? George, she's expecting a wedding. She's not taking attendance. She's a con artist. Con artists notice details. We have no choice. We go with 44. I paced the hotel corridor. Damn it, okay. Okay. Maybe she won't notice. Maybe. Breathe. We've got this. Nothing says I'm definitely not hiding anything, like worrying about one missing guest an hour before showtime. 2:30 p.m. Alexander and Victoria arrived. I watched from my position as Uncle Robert, the disguised version of myself that Rebecca had created, the greeter, an actor, approached them. This looks great. Where's Emily getting ready in the bridal suite? You know, bride's always running late. Victoria stood in the center of the ballroom, turned slowly. Her heels echoed on marble. Something's off. What do you mean? That shifted nervously. I don't know. Something feels wrong. Mom, you're paranoid. I have good instincts. How many guests are here? I don't know. They're still arriving. She started counting under her breath. 25, 26. Mom, stop. You're making me nervous. I spoke quietly into my hidden earpiece. She's counting. Becky. She's actually counting guests. Rebecca's voice crackled back. Stay calm. She doesn't know what number she's counting to. Victoria continued scanning the room. Where's George, the bride's father, should be here greeting people. Maybe he's with Emily. Maybe. Her eyes landed on me, held my gaze for 4 seconds. My heart hammered. She looked away. At 2:45, I lifted a champagne glass. My hand shook so badly the glass slipped. Didn't shatter, just made noise. Several people looked. Victoria's head snapped around. I froze. An actor nearby laughed. Butterfingers today. Robert, others chuckled. Crisis averted. But I realized I was too nervous. Excused myself. Walked outside. 10 minutes of Chicago air. Deep breaths. When I came back, Victoria stood in the center again, rotating, taking in every detail. That is beside her. Mom, everything looks fine. Can you relax? She didn't answer, just kept scanning, then stopped. There's no photographer. What? No photographer. Where's the cheaper photographer? Emily mentioned. The actor, photographer, emerged from a side room with his camera. Sorry, just setting up the equipment. Victoria watched him, nodded slowly. Good. But her eyes kept calculating. She pulled out her phone, checked something, frowned. The address, what about it? Alexander asked. The invitation says Grand Plaza Hotel, but the sign outside said Heritage Inn. Alexander looked at her. Maybe you misread. I don't misread. She looked at the ballroom again. Her voice dropped. Something is very, very wrong here. Victoria stood in the center of the ballroom, calculating. Something is very, very wrong here. Alexander touched her arm. Mom, we're committed. The ceremony starts in 20 minutes. She looked at him, looked at the room, looked at the photographer, adjusting his equipment, made a decision. We proceed, she said. But I'm watching. I sat in the back row, disguised as Uncle Robert, tablet hidden inside my program. 7 camera feeds glowed on the screen, every angle covered. Audio clear, my hands gripped the tablet so hard my knuckles went white beneath the age spots Rebecca had painted on. 3 p.m. The ceremony began. Music started. The side door opened. Sarah Reed entered as Emily. She was perfect. The slight bounce in her step, The way she held the bouquet at her hip, the rapid blinking when she got emotional, every detail pan, every movement studied for 4 days and performed flawlessly. The actor guests turned, smiled. Aunt Clara dabbed her eyes with a tissue. Uncle Robert stood straighter. Bridesmaid adjusted her own bouquet. Alexander watched his bride approach. Something crossed his face. Confusion. He leaned close during the opening prayer, whispered in her ear, "You seem different today." Sarah touched his face, smiled. "It's happiness. Darling, pure happiness. No, it's something else. Your perfume. Oh, I changed it. Wanted something special for today. Your voice sounds—" The officiant interrupted. "And now the couple has prepared their own vows." Alexander shook his head slightly. Refocused. "Right. Sorry." The ceremony proceeded. Readings by actor guests, Alexander's vows, Sarah's responses perfectly mimicking Emily's cadence. I watched the tablet, all 7 cameras recording. No technical failures, no missed audio. 3:43 p.m. Victoria checked her watch. 2 minutes. Her hand trembled as she touched the envelope in her purse. She glanced at Alexander. He was watching his bride with something that might have been real emotion. For a moment, Victoria's expression flickered. Doubt. Guilt. Something human. She closed her eyes, took a breath, opened them. The doubt was gone. 3:45 p.m. Exactly. Victoria stood. "Stop, I'm sorry, but I cannot stay silent." The officiant looked up. "Ma'am, please. My son deserves to know the truth before he makes the biggest mistake of his life." That turned false surprise painted on his face. "Mom, what are you?" Victoria held up the envelope, pulled out photos. Even from the back row, I could see they were garbage. Wrong lighting, pixelated edges. A middle school art fair would have rejected them. I have proof that this woman, this liar, has been unfaithful. The actor guests performed beautifully. Gasps, whispers, heads turning. Aunt Clara clutched her pearls so theatrically, I made a mental note to hire her again. Woman had commitment. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Poor Alexander. Sarah's distress was Oscar-worthy. Real tears courtesy of menthol. What no? Those aren't real. Victoria advanced on her. "These photos don't lie. Sweetheart, you thought you could fool my boy." Alexander approached, voice shaking. "Emily, tell me this isn't true." Sarah reached for him. "Alex, please. I don't know what she's talking about." He jerked away. Overacting. But the room accepted it. "Don't touch me." Victoria grabbed Alexander's arm. "Come on, sweetheart. We're leaving. But the gifts, especially the gifts." Her voice projected righteousness after what she's done. Their compensation for emotional damage. Everyone here is a witness to her betrayal. Actor Uncle Robert half stood. "Now wait just a minute." Victoria cut him off. "You wait. My son's been humiliated. These gifts were meant to celebrate a marriage built on lies." Actor Aunt Clara tried. "This doesn't seem right." Victoria ignored her. "Start loading them now." Alexander began stacking gift boxes on the wheeled cart an actor had helpfully provided. He lifted the 4th box. Nearly dropped it. What did people put in these? Probably crystal, silver, things of value. Victoria was distracted, triumphant. He didn't tell him bricks weigh more than toasters. My phone buzzed. Text from Emily. "Did she do it?" I typed back, watching the tablet. Right on schedule. 3:45 exactly. I wish I could see her face. "You will." 7 cameras, every angle. Activate the screen. Not yet. Let them collect more gifts, more crimes on camera. Dad, I want them to know. 40 seconds. I promise. Victoria and Alexander worked systematically. 12 boxes, 18, 25. Every movement recorded. Every word about compensation captured. 3:48 p.m. I tapped the tablet 4 times. Under the cake table, the hidden screen illuminated. 52 inches of LED embedded horizontally beneath the white tablecloth, positioned so anyone near the gift table would see it reflecting on the floor. Victoria reached for another box. Paused. What's that light? Alexander didn't look. What light? Is that a screen? She bent down, looked under the table on the screen. Live feed from the real venue. Emily in her wedding dress. Very much present. Very much smiling. Victoria straightened slowly. Alexander, Alexander. He turned. What? She pointed. Look under the table. Alexander crouched by the cake table, stared at the screen. Emily waved at the camera. Her lips moved. He read them. Hi, Alex. Behind her, the real Aunt Clara appeared, waved, then real Uncle Robert. More real guests, all waving, all very much not in this ballroom. That stood slowly, turned to face the room, really looked at the guests for the first time. That woman in the 4th row. He'd never seen her before in his life. That uncle in the back, different nose, different everything. He grabbed Victoria's arm. Mom, his voice cracked. Mom, these aren't the real guests. Victoria scanned faces. Her expression shifted. Triumph to confusion, to dawning horror. What the bride? Sarah watched them with an amused smile. She reached up, touched her hair, gripped the wig at the hairline, and pulled. The wig came off smoothly, gray hair styled differently beneath. Sarah took a theatrical bow. Thank you for the applause. On the hidden screen. Emily leaned toward the camera. Hi, Victoria. Surprise, Victoria stared. What is this? What's happening? Remember your plan. Emily's voice came through speakers I'd hidden in the floral arrangements. Humiliate me at 3:45. Take the gifts. File for divorce Tuesday. Really creative. Unfortunately for you, I heard about it last Sunday. I appeared on screen next to Emily. I recorded your conversation at the rehearsal. Every word. Alexander's voice came out. Dad. Her dad is everything you just did. I kept my tone even, recorded. 7 cameras, 5 microphones. Fraud, defamation, attempted theft of property. Victoria found her voice. You can't. This isn't legal. Jonathan appeared on screen. Attorney Jonathan Crawford. Actually, it's perfectly legal. You planned a crime independently. We simply provided an alternative venue for you to commit it while being documented. Around the room, the unmasking began. Actor Aunt Clara removed her wig. Sorry, honey. Theater vertigo player. This was fun. Though, actor Uncle Robert peeled off his beard. Steppenwolf Theater Company. George is an old friend. 45 people removing disguises at once looked like the world's weirdest flash mob. Uncle Robert's beard came off and revealed a woman. That was entertainment. Sarah stepped forward, still in the wedding dress, but wigless. Sarah Reed. I've played Blanche Dubois, Lady Macbeth, and now your victim. This was the best role. Victoria backed away. You're all actors. Rebecca emerged from a side room with her production clipboard. Every single one. Well, except the real Emily. She's 7 blocks away. Alexander turned to his mother, voice breaking. Mom, they played us. They completely played us. This is entrapment. Entrapment. I walked down the center aisle. Actors stepped aside. I wiped the last makeup off with a cloth. Let my real face show. Entrapment requires law enforcement to induce you to commit a crime you weren't already planning. You planned this last week. I recorded it. You just executed your plan exactly as discussed. You can't prove anything. I held up my phone. 7 cameras. Audio recorded from the moment you entered. Would you like to hear the part where you said these gifts are ours as compensation? Victoria grabbed Alexander's arm. Don't say anything. Not a word. We're leaving. Detective Rogers is probably waiting at the exits by now. She dragged him toward the side exit. Come on, Mom. Maybe we should… No, we're leaving now. She pushed the door. It opened before she reached it. Detective James Rogers stepped through. Plain clothes, badge on his belt, 3 uniformed officers behind him. Victoria Thompson. She froze. Who are you? He showed his badge. Detective James Rogers, Chicago PD. We need to talk about what just happened here. I'm not saying anything without my attorney. That's your right. But we have video evidence of attempted fraud, defamation, and theft. Multiple witnesses. You might want to cooperate. Alexander suddenly pulled away from his mother. I'll cooperate. I'll tell you everything. Victoria grabbed his arm. Alexander, shut up. He wrenched free. No, Mom, I'm done. This is insane. At the police station, 5 p. Rogers sat across from Victoria in the interrogation room. Alexander had been taken to a separate room immediately. You have the right to remain silent. After Miranda rights. Victoria spoke. I want my lawyer. I'm not saying anything. Fair enough. While we wait for your attorney, let me show you something interesting. Rogers slid a tablet across the table. Case file open. 2020 Austin, Texas. A woman named Victoria Thompson. That's you was investigated for a similar scheme. Wedding fraud. Charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence. Victoria's face went pale. That case was dismissed because the victim didn't want to press charges. Embarrassed. Sound familiar? He swiped to another file. 2018 Denver. Another wedding situation, and patterns becoming clear. I want my lawyer. He's on his way. But here's the thing. Miss Thompson, this time we have video. Crystal clear. 7 angles, audio. You planned it. You said it out loud. And you tried to execute it. This time there's no getting out. Victoria tried to smash the screen when Rogers first showed it to her. She brought her purse down hard. It bounced off. Screen didn't crack. I'd used the same material we built breakaway props from. Irony tasted sweet. Her phone buzzed. Text exchange with her attorney that Rogers photographed. Victoria. They have video. Everything. Attorney, how much video, Victoria? All of it. The whole ceremony. Me accusing her. Taking the gifts. Everything. Attorney. That's problematic. Victoria. Fix this. Attorney. Victoria. If they have what you're describing, there's nothing to fix. We're looking at plea bargains, not dismissal. In the separate room, Alexander sang like a canary at a bird convention. I almost felt bad. Almost. It was my mom's idea, all of it. Head in his hands, words tumbling, the fake evidence. The plan to humiliate Emily. Take the gifts. File for divorce. She said it would solve my debt problems. $100,000. Crypto investments went bad. So, you agreed to commit fraud to cover gambling debts. They weren't gambling. They were investments. I thought I don't know what I thought. Did you know your mother had done this before that looked up? What? She has a history. At least 3 similar schemes we know about. Oh my God. She said this was one time. Get clear and stop. She promised. Sounds like she lied to you, too. 5:15 p.m. Holding room. Victoria alone before her attorney arrived. She sat on the metal bench. Expensive suit wrinkled. Her hands shook. Not fear at first. Rage. Then something else. She opened her phone. Scrolled to a photo. Younger her in a notary office. Professional headshot. Proud smile. Date 2019. She stared at it. The person she was before everything fell apart. Closed her eyes for just a moment. Her face crumpled. Not crying, but close. Genuine grief for who she used to be. Then hardened again. Closed the phone. But the moment showed everything she knew. She'd destroyed herself. Became the thing she once would have condemned. 5:19 p.m. Detective Rogers left her alone in the interrogation room. Through the one-way mirror, I stood watching with Emily and Rogers. Emily saw Victoria for the first time since the rehearsal. Victoria sat perfectly still, staring at the metal table. Then she looked up directly at the mirror. Couldn't see through it, but seemed to know we were there. She mouthed something. Rogers asked. What did she say? I read her lips 3 times to be sure. This isn't over, Emily laughed. Sharp, cold. Yes, it is. Roger's phone buzzed. He checked it, expression changing. Folks, we just got a call from a woman in Austin. She saw the news coverage. Apparently, there's already media outside. She says Victoria did the same thing to her daughter in 2020. She wants to file charges now. He looked at me. How many others do you think there are? I watched Victoria through the glass. Let's find out. Tuesday evening, my workshop. The news played on the TV mounted above my workbench. In an unprecedented case, a 65-year-old theatrical retiree orchestrated an elaborate sting operation to catch his daughter's fiancé and future mother-in-law attempting wedding fraud. I looked at my cat on the windowsill. Unprecedented. Like nobody's ever been fed up with con artists before. They called me a theatrical retiree. Like I retired from being theatrical. I was in special effects. I blew stuff up and made fake blood. Hardly Hamlet. The reporter continued. George Harrington, a retired special effects designer from Steppenwolf Theater Company, hired 45 actors to stage a fake wedding ceremony. My phone buzzed. Text from Rebecca. You're famous. Drinks to celebrate. I typed back. Maybe. Feel weird about it. Why you won. I didn't respond. Across the room, my mechanical toys sat silent. I hadn't wound them since Friday. The ballerina, the bear, the German car, all frozen mid-motion. Wednesday morning, Detective Rogers called. George, you sitting down? That's never good news. What happened? A woman named Patricia Thornton just walked into the Austin Police Department. Says Victoria Thompson did the exact same thing to her daughter in 2020. I know you mentioned that Sunday. Right. But here's the thing. She's ready to press charges now. Seeing your case on the news gave her courage. And George, I think there might be more victims. We're checking records in Denver, Phoenix, even Seattle, Washington. This woman's been busy. By Thursday, 4 more women had come forward. I sat behind the one-way glass at the police station, watching them give statements, all telling similar stories. Wedding schemes, fake evidence, theft, crying, angry, relieved. One woman from Denver, 2018. one from Phoenix 2021. Patricia's daughter from Austin 2020 plus Emily. 5 separate incidents over 7 years. Thursday afternoon. I met with ADA Sarah Chen and Jonathan at the prosecutor's office. Chen slid a folder across the table. We now have 5 separate incidents. 2018, 2020, 2021, and your daughter's case this year. Jonathan leaned forward. That establishes a pattern. Premeditation. Better than that. It shows this was her business model. Chen opened the folder. She found men with debt, coached them through the scheme, took a percentage. How much did she make conservatively? $250,000 over 7 years. Probably more we haven't found. I kept my voice level. And Alexander, latest victim, but also a perpetrator. His cooperation is helping. But he's not innocent. Will Emily get restitution? Every victim will. But Victoria's broke. Judgment might not mean much practically. I drove home through afternoon traffic, stopped at a red light near a pawn shop, saw a woman inside talking to the clerk. Not Victoria, just a woman. But I thought about desperation, about what people become when they're drowning. Friday morning. Alexander received an envelope at his mother's house where he'd been staying. Plain white. No return address. Typed message inside. I learned about this later. But Detective Rogers told me Alexander's hands shook reading it. The letter said, I can make the evidence disappear. 60,000 details to follow. Alexander showed his mother. Her voice rose with hope. Someone's offering to help make the evidence disappear. For 60,000. Mom, we don't have that. She gripped the letter. We get it. This is our way out. How do we? Your car, my jewelry. We borrow the rest. Alexander, this is a gift. He hesitated. What if it's a scam? She laughed. Manic edge to it. A scam, someone scamming scammers. That would be rich. They spent Friday afternoon liquidating everything. I sat in my car outside the pawn shop without planning to. Just happened to be driving past. Watched through the window as Victoria sold her jewelry. She sold jewelry for 40 cents on the dollar. The pawn shop guy practically cackled. I didn't know people actually cackled outside cartoons. She was crying. The pieces clearly had sentimental value. A necklace, earrings, a bracelet. I thought about calling it off, warning her about the trap. Didn't. Drove to an empty parking lot. Sat there 25 minutes. Phone in my hand. Didn't call, just sat. Friday evening, 7:53 p.m. That's finger hovered over the confirm button on his banking app. Victoria watched over his shoulder, both holding their breath. He pressed it. 60,000 gone. They fell for anonymous helper will make evidence disappear for cash. I've seen better plots in community theater murder mysteries. Saturday morning, Detective Rogers called. Sounded triumphant. They did it. Transferred the full amount at 7:53 p.m. Yesterday, the prosecutor's test, yep. We now have them on attempted witness tampering. That's a separate felony. I didn't sound happy. Good. You don't sound thrilled. They're idiots. They fell for the most obvious trap. That's kind of the point. I know, just, they're so desperate. They can't even see straight. George, they were going to destroy your daughter's life. Remember that. I remember. I hung up, poured bourbon, didn't drink it, just stared at the glass. Friday night at 12:53 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number, Mr. Harrington Patrick Holmes from the wedding. I remembered. You played Cousin Marcus. What can I do for you? Well, there's a problem with my payment. Problem, you were paid $500 like everyone else. That's the thing. I thought it was $600. We had a deal. I pulled up the contract on my laptop. Patrick, I have the signed agreement right here. 500? You signed it. I must have misunderstood. Look, I'm a little short this month. If you can't cover the extra 600, if I can't. Long pause. I'd hate for the defense to find out the wedding was staged with paid actors. Might complicate your case. Ice in my voice. Are you threatening me? I'm just saying. 600 would help me keep quiet. Otherwise, I might need to talk to someone about what really happened. Give me a day, 24 hours. Then I call Victoria's lawyer. I dropped my coffee mug, didn't break, rolled under the table, pressed the phone hard against my ear. 3:27 a.m. Couldn't sleep. Called Jonathan. We have a problem. A massive problem. He answered groggy. George, it's 3 a.m. Patrick Holmes, one of the actors. He's blackmailing me. Says he'll tell the defense everything unless I pay him. Suddenly alert. How much? 600. But it's not about the money. If he testifies that we staged it with paid actors, the defense will argue entrapment, false evidence, prosecutorial misconduct. It could destroy the whole case. Pause. Or it could be exactly what we need. What let him go to the defense? Don't stop him. Are you insane? Trust me. This could work in our favor. How could this possibly? Let me make a call. Don't pay him. Let him make his move. I paced my workshop until dawn. All my mechanical toys sat silent around me. Dead batteries, unwound springs. The place felt like a graveyard. Rebecca stopped by Saturday morning, looked around. You okay? Place feels dead. I couldn't explain why I'd let everything run down. Saturday morning, 10:45 a.m. Patrick walked into defense attorney Marcus Webb's office. I sat in my car outside watching, gripping the steering wheel. Considered going in, stopping it didn't. Inside. Patrick sat across from Webb. Mr. Holmes, you said you have information about the wedding ceremony. Yeah. The whole thing was fake. Staged. Paid actors. Webb leaned forward. Explain. George Harrington hired 45 of us. Chicago theater people, 500 each. We memorized names, played fake guests. Even the bride was an actress. Webb wrote frantically. This could invalidate the entire case. Evidence obtained through fraud. I know. Right. Thought you should know. Why are you coming forward? Patrick shrugged. Harrington underpaid me. 600 short. I'm a little bitter. We can potentially compensate you for your time if you testify. Patrick smiled. He played bitter, underpaid actor so well. I actually believed him. Should have given him 600. He earned it. That would be great. Oh, one more thing I should mention. Yes, I've been working with the prosecutor's office as an informant. This entire conversation is being recorded. Webb's pen froze mid-note. Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m., Jonathan's office. I didn't sit. Paced between filing cabinets, bookshelf, window. Couldn't be still. Patrick was working for you the whole time. Jonathan sat calmly. For the prosecution, technically. But yes, you didn't tell me. No. Why the hell not? Because your reaction needed to be genuine. If you'd known Patrick was faking, your panic wouldn't have been authentic. Authentic, I didn't sleep for 3 days. I thought the whole case was collapsing. I know. I'm sorry, but it worked. I stopped pacing, faced him. What else haven't you told me? Nothing else. That was the only element you didn't know about. How do I believe you? He met my eyes. You don't. You decide whether the outcome was worth the manipulation. That's a shitty answer. It's an honest one. He pulled out a legal pad, drew a diagram, Flowchart showing all layers of the plan. The core was mine. Fake wedding, actors, recording. But around it more circles. Patrick's double agent role. The prosecutor's witness tampering test. Media strategy to flush out victims. He drew the plan like a conspiracy theory flowchart. I expected red string connecting photos. Very beautiful mind except with more felonies. The core plan was yours. Fake wedding actors recording. That was brilliant. But courts don't always care about brilliant. They care about evidence that can't be challenged. So I added insurance. Patrick. If the defense got desperate enough to contact him, we'd know they were willing to use compromised testimony. That gives us leverage. You set up their attorney to fail. I gave their attorney an opportunity to do the right thing. He chose poorly. That's semantics. He shrugged. Welcome to law. It's all semantics. The anonymous letter. 2. The 60,000. That was the prosecutor's office. Ada Chen's idea. Test whether they'd attempt witness tampering. Jesus, how many layers did you people add? Enough to ensure victory. You wanted justice for Emily. I delivered it. Are you angry about the method or the success I sat down finally? I don't know yet. Tuesday morning. Courthouse. Preliminary hearings. Defense attorney Webb had recused himself. Ethics violation. New attorney scrambling with an unwinnable case. I sat in the public gallery. Emily next to me. We didn't hold hands. Barely looked at each other. Prosecutor Chen stood. Your Honor, the state presents video evidence from the incident. The video played on the large courtroom screen. Entire room watched. Victoria standing. Dramatic accusations waving those garbage photos. Watching Victoria on that giant courtroom screen was like seeing a bad movie you directed. Except the bad acting was real, and the consequences were prison. I have proof this woman has been unfaithful. Actor guests gasping. Victoria and Alexander collecting gifts. What did people put in these probably crystal, silver, things of value? Emily whispered. I forgot how loud she was. I whispered back. She's been loud her whole life. Just usually got away with it. At the defense table, Victoria sat perfectly still. Hands folded. Face blank. Only her throat moved, swallowing repeatedly. Judge watched the entire video. I've seen enough. Preliminary hearing is satisfied. We'll proceed to trial unless plea negotiations conclude first. Wednesday. Victoria's new attorney, David Moss, slid a plea agreement across the table. Victoria pushed it back. He slid it again. She pushed it back 4 times before finally signing. I learned this later from Jonathan, but I could picture it. Her hand shaking, pen hovering. The moment she gave up. Miss Thompson, they have you on video committing multiple felonies. 7 different angles. Previous victims willing to testify. Your son is cooperating with prosecution. Alexander is cooperating. Full cooperation. He's giving them everything. She laughed, bitter. Of course he is. Saving himself. We can't win at trial. The plea offer. 5 years. Eligible for parole in 3. It's the best we'll get. 5 years. Or we go to trial and you get 8 to 12. Your choice. Thursday. That is testified. He threw his mother under the bus, backed up, and ran her over again for good measure. Prosecutors barely had to ask questions. Mr. Thompson. Whose idea was the wedding fraud scheme my mother's Victoria Thompson? Explain how it started. I was in debt. 100,000 from crypto investments. She said she knew a way to clear it. Marry someone. Create a fraud scenario. Take their assets. Divorce. Had she done this before? Yes. She told me about previous times. 2018 when I was 20. At least 2 more. Did you love Emily Harrington? His voice broke. At first. Yes. Then the debts got worse. My mother kept pushing, and I don't know what I felt anymore. He didn't look at his mother once, kept his eyes on the prosecutor, on his hands, on the ceiling, anywhere but her. Victoria watched on the courtroom monitor. Not rage on her face, just resignation, betrayal, acceptance that this is who her son really is. Lunch recess, courtroom emptied. Victoria sat alone at the defense table. Alexander was escorted past her to a separate exit. Alexander. Quiet. He stopped. Didn't turn around. I'm sorry I made you into this. You're sorry you got caught. No. I'm sorry I taught you to think like I think, to see people as marks. His voice broke. I did love her. Mom. At first. I know you ruined that. Made me into someone who could do that to someone I loved. Tears on her face. I was trying to save you. He finally turned. You destroyed me instead. The officer touched his arm. We need to go. Alexander left without looking back. Victoria sat alone, crying silently. No sound. Friday morning. Sentencing. Judge Torres looked down from the bench. Miss Thompson, you orchestrated a sophisticated fraud scheme targeting vulnerable young men with financial problems. You coached them to deceive women who trusted them, causing emotional and financial harm. You've shown no remorse. The court sentences you to 5 years in state prison, eligible for parole after 3 years served, plus restitution of $150,000 to be divided among your victims. Victoria stood. I understand. Do you have anything to say? Brief pause. I was someone once, someone respectable. I don't expect you to care, but I want the record to show I know what I've lost. Noted. Mr. Thompson. Alexander got probation, 3 years supervised, 400 hours community service, $20,000 to Emily, 12-year restraining order. Victoria was escorted out in handcuffs. She passed me in the aisle. Our eyes met for 4 seconds. No words. She looked at me. Not with hatred, with something worse. Understanding. Her expression said, You won, but what did it cost you? I looked away first. Emily touched my arm. It's over. Yeah, you did it. You protected me. Yeah. She noticed my tone. Dad, you okay? Let's go home. I drove home, sat in my car in my own driveway for 20 minutes before going inside. The following Friday, a letter arrived. Prison envelope. I opened it standing in my workshop, read once, read again, sat down heavily. George, you took everything. My freedom, my son, my last shred of dignity. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it and wouldn't believe you if you gave it. But I want you to understand something. I was someone once, a professional, proud. Your daughter probably doesn't know this, but I volunteered at women's shelters. I helped people. Then my husband left. I made mistakes trying to survive. Lost my license, lost my identity. I became what I fought against. You did the right thing stopping me. Your daughter is lucky to have a father who protects her so completely. I just wonder who's protecting you from what this victory is costing. Your mechanical toys have stopped. I noticed at the hearing your hands were still. Men like us. We need our rituals. When those stop, it means something's broken. I hope your revenge was worth what you've lost. Not just the money you spent. Not the time. The part of yourself that could forgive. The part that could stop. I'm paying for my sins. I accept that. But you're paying too in a different currency. Hope it balances. Victoria. I set the letter down. Looked at my mechanical toys. All stopped. All silent. Picked up the ballerina. My favorite. Wound the key. It didn't play. Broken spring. Probably set it down carefully. Sat in my chair. Head in my hands. My phone rang. Emily calling. I looked at it ringing. Didn't answer. Let it go to voicemail. Sat alone in silence. 4 weeks after sentencing. I finally understood what Victoria's letter meant. Not the words, the warning. I sat in my workshop holding it. Read it for maybe the 50th time. Hope your revenge was worth what you've lost. I hadn't lost anything. Had I drove to Emily's apartment that afternoon. She didn't answer the door immediately. Made me wait. When she finally opened it, the chain was still on. Dad, you should have called first. Since when do I need to call before visiting my daughter? She removed the chain. Let me in. Since I stopped trusting people to be who they say they are, I noticed the locks. 4 deadbolts, fortress-level security. Emily, those can't be too careful. She walked to the kitchen. Didn't offer coffee. We sat at her table. Her phone buzzed. Dating app notification. She silenced it immediately. Not interested. They all want something. Sweetheart, the threat's gone. Alexander has a restraining order. Victoria's in prison. She laughed bitter. You think they were the only threats, Dad? Everyone's a potential threat now. What do you mean a guy at work asked me to coffee yesterday? Nice guy, design department, known him 3 years. And I said, no. Want to know why? She looked at me because my first thought was, what does he want? What's the angle? Is this the setup? I spent 25 minutes analyzing whether coffee was code for something. The words hit like a physical blow. Emily, it's just coffee. Dad, just coffee. And I can't even trust that anymore. I sat back. What have I done to you? You saved me. But I don't know if I can ever trust anyone again. That night, video call with Michael, 3 a.m. His time in New York. Dad, you look terrible. Thanks. That's helpful. I mean it. You're not sleeping. I can tell. I'm fine. His voice got firm. No, you're not. And neither is Emily. I talked to her yesterday. She's Dad. She's broken. I was protecting her. I know. And you did. But at what cost? I got angry. What was I supposed to do? Let them destroy her. He softened. No. You did the right thing. I just wish the right thing didn't cost so much. I deflated. Me too, son. Me, too. The next week, I did something I'd never done. Made an appointment with a therapist. Dr. Helen Morrison. Sat in her waiting room for 15 minutes before the first session. Almost left 3 times. Forced myself to stay. The magazines were from 2020. I read about old news and thought, at least some things age badly for everyone. What brings you here, Mr. Harrington? My son thinks I need help. My daughter's broken, and I got a letter from prison that won't leave me alone. Tell me about the letter. I explained everything. The fake wedding, the sting, the trial, Victoria's letter about costs. She listened, then asked, do you regret what you did? I don't know. I did what I had to do. But was it worth it? What if you'd done nothing? Then pause. She would have been destroyed. Married him. Lost everything. Been publicly humiliated. So you chose between one kind of damage and another. That's a terrible choice. Most important choices are. Meanwhile, Alexander was doing community service at a homeless shelter, serving food, washing dishes, head down, avoiding eye contact. He met a man there, Marcus, 65, reformed con artist. They talked during break, Marcus washing dishes beside him. First time doing this, community service court ordered. I figured you got that look. What look? Guy who just realized he's not who he thought he was. I had it too 25 years ago. What were you in for? Fraud, pension scheme. Took money from people who couldn't afford to lose it. That stopped working. How'd you come back from that? I didn't. Not all the way. You don't come back from hurting people. You just learn to live forward. I wrote her a letter. Apology. She hasn't responded. She won't. Probably won't even open it. Then why'd I write it? Because it wasn't for her. It was for you. Admitting what you did out loud. Emily had received that letter. It sat on her kitchen counter for weeks, unopened. She circled it like it might explode. When I visited again, I saw it. That from Alexander. Yeah. You going to open it? I don't know. Part of me wants to read what he has to say. And the other part wants to burn it unopened. Let him wonder if I ever saw it. Both are valid choices. Which would you do? I considered. I'd probably read it, then burn it. But that's me. Small smile. That sounds about right. 7 weeks after sentencing, I found a therapy group for fraud victims. People who'd been through what Emily experienced. I found something. Group for people who've been through what you went through. Dad, I don't want to talk about this with strangers. They're not strangers. They're people who understand. You've been going to therapy. I was surprised. How'd you know you're different? Quieter, like you're actually processing instead of just moving forward. It's helping. Maybe it could help you, too. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. She went. First session, she sat in the circle. 9 people, a facilitator. Stories of betrayal, schemes, lost savings, broken trust. Emily, would you like to share? I was engaged. Found out 4 days before the wedding he was planning to humiliate me and take everything. My dad stopped it. But now I don't trust anyone. I see schemes everywhere. Can't take anything at face value. Across the circle, a man spoke. I got scammed by my business partner. 4 years of work, all my savings. I know that feeling like the world's suddenly hostile. She looked at him. Simon, 34, teacher, their eyes met. Exactly. How do you move past it? I'm not sure you do. But being here helps, knowing others get it. Small nod. Yeah, it does help. 4 months after the trial, Emily called. Her voice sounded different. Lighter. Dad, you busy? I was in my workshop repairing the mechanical ballerina. Never too busy for you. What's up? I met someone at the therapy group. I set down my tools. Oh, his name's Simon. He's a teacher. He got scammed by his business partner a few years ago, and we've been talking after sessions. Then coffee. Then dinner. Dad, it's been 4 months. And I think I might be able to trust again. Emotion caught in my throat. Sweetheart, that's wonderful. I want you to meet him dinner this weekend. I'd love that. Dad. Yeah. Thank you for the therapy group for not giving up on me. Never. I'd never give up on you. Sunday evening. November. 7 months since the fake wedding that changed everything. I stood in my workshop before leaving. All the mechanical toys worked again. The bear, the German car, the dancing robot. Months of patient repair. Each one a small victory over breaking. Only the ballerina remained. I'd saved her for last. Drove to Emily's new apartment. Nicer neighborhood. Fresh start. Noticed she only had 3 locks now. Progress. She opened the door, smiling. "Dad, come in. Simon's here." He stood immediately. Firm handshake, direct eye contact. Nervous, but not hiding it. "Mr. Harrington, it's really good to finally meet you. Emily has told me a lot about you. All good. I hope, honestly, some scary parts, too. But I respect what you did for her." I studied him. "What did I do?" "Protected her when it mattered. Even when it cost you." Emily called from the kitchen. "Simon, don't let him intimidate you." He smiled nervously. Too late. But that's okay. Dinner was home-cooked. Table set nicely. Conversation flowed. Simon talked about his elementary school students. 4th graders learning fractions. The joy and frustration of teaching. Then, out of nowhere, "Mr. Harrington, I know what you've been through. What Emily has been through. She told you everything, and I want you to know I'm not like that. I'm not here to hurt her. How do I know that he got completely serious? If you want, I'll take a polygraph test right now. I'll answer any question you have. I've got nothing to hide." I paused, fork halfway to my mouth, stared at him. "You're serious completely?" The kid offered to take a polygraph at dinner. I almost asked if he wanted to provide a blood sample, too. Then I realized he was monumentally serious. I laughed. First genuine laugh in months. Started as a chuckle built to real laughter. Years of tension releasing. "You're either the biggest fool I've ever met, or the most honest man. I'm choosing to believe the second one." He relaxed. "Thank you, I'll take that. Emily smiled at both of us. "See, I told you you'd like him." During dessert, Simon told his story. Business partner. Best friend since college. We started an education tech company. 4 years in, found out he'd been embezzling. Took everything. My savings, investors' money, our reputation. What happened to him? Prison. 3 years out now, last I heard. You ever talk to him after he shook his head? No. Some bridges don't need rebuilding. But it taught me something. How to spot genuine people. That's why I knew Emily was real. She reached for his hand. We're both learning to trust again. My phone buzzed. Text from Jonathan. "Victoria released early for good behavior. 3 years served at 5. Moving to Florida to live with sister. Won't be back." I read it. Set the phone down. "What is it?" Emily asked. "Victoria. Released early. Good behavior. Moving to Florida. How do you feel about that?" I considered. Tired. Just tired. She's someone else's problem now. Or maybe no one's. Maybe she'll actually change. Simon watched me. "You don't sound angry." "I'm not. Anger takes energy." "I'm fresh out." "What about Alexander? He's on probation. Community service. Heard he's actually showing up doing the work. Maybe he'll figure it out." Emily's voice got quiet. "Do you forgive them?" Long pause. "I don't know if that's the right question. I've let them go. That's different from forgiveness." After dinner, Emily walked me to the door, hugged me. Long hug. Not brief. "Dad, thank you for what?" "For everything. For saving me. For the therapy group. For tonight. Not scaring Simon away. I almost destroyed you." She pulled back. Looked at me. "No. You showed me what real love looks like. It's protection. Even when it hurts. It's sacrifice. It's doing the hard thing because it's right. It cost you months of your life. Trust issues, paranoia, And now I'm stronger. I know what betrayal looks like. I know what genuine looks like. Simon is genuine. I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference before. That's an expensive lesson. But I learned it. And I survived it because of you. Emotion caught in my voice. I'm proud of you. I know. That's why it was worth it. I drove home, sat in the car in my driveway for a moment, but this time got out without heavy pause. Workshop, turned on all the lights, approached the ballerina with fresh eyes. The final repair took 2 hours, installing the new spring, calibrating the mechanism, winding the key carefully, set her down, watched her spin. The music played perfect. I made a small brass plaque, engraved it myself for Emily for second chances. From Dad, November 2025. Attached it to the base with care. Later, video call from Michael, New York nighttime skyline behind him. Dad, how are you? Really? You know, son. For the first time in 2 years. Good. Really good. You mean that? I gestured to the workshop. Look around. Toys are all working again. Workshop's lit up. I'm sleeping through the night. And Emily, she's healing. Met someone. Good guy. Honest. She's laughing again. Real laughs. Then it was worth it. Maybe. Or maybe we just survived it. Either way, we're still here. That's what matters. Dad, you're still here. Yeah, we are. After the call, I noticed a small package on the doorstep. Must have arrived while I was at Emily. Inside, a vintage music box. Beautiful craftsmanship. A note. Thank you for showing me real craftsmanship. Some things are worth preserving. Marcus from the shelter. I smiled. Alexander must have told him about my hobby. Marcus, the reformed con mentoring Alexander. Sending unexpected grace, I placed it on my shelf. Wound it. Let it play. Sat in my chair, surrounded by mechanical life. Each toy with a story, each repair a lesson. Took me 7 months to fix these toys. 7 months to repair what took 7 days to break. Math seemed about right for life. The ballerina spun in the foreground. Music box played harmony. Workshop hummed with gentle mechanical sounds. Warm light filled the space. People ask if I regret it. I regret that I had to do it. But I'm proud that I could. Revenge is a cold dish. Forgiveness is even colder. But love always warms. My daughter's laughing again. My son calls from New York. My workshop hums with life. Broken things can be repaired. Sometimes broken things become stronger at the break. Sometimes the cracks are where the light gets in. I'm 65 years old. I've been a father, a designer of illusions, a seeker of justice, and a broken man who found his way back. If you asked me to do it all again, I'd hesitate. Then I'd say yes, because some things are worth breaking for. Some people are worth protecting. Even if it breaks you, too. My daughter is one of them. Always has been. Always will be. I watched the ballerina spin. Read the plaque one more time. For Emily. For second chances. The music played on. As the music faded, I realized that stories like this remind us of the power of family bonds and second chances. What about you? Did this tale resonate with your own experiences of betrayal or redemption? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how it touched you. If you have questions or want to discuss the twists further, drop them there too. We can exchange ideas and keep the conversation going. Engaging with the channel helps us grow together. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe for more heartfelt narratives. To hear the next one, simply click the box on the left. Thank you for joining me today. Your support means everything.